Noah here from American Trucks. We're going to take a closer look at these Raxium Axial Series LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses for the 09 to 18 Ram 1500 with the factory halogen non-projector headlights. Now, these headlights are perfect for that Ram owner who wants a fully plug-and-play upgrade with a super bright LED daytime running light and a darker housing for that popular aftermarket headlight look. The two main things to consider when shopping for aftermarket headlights are the style and the improved visibility. And everybody wants the best of both, and it's definitely tough to navigate all the options that are available out there. These headlights in particular, I think, do a great job balancing visual appearance and improved visibility. So these guys are super sleek top to bottom, and they're pretty subtle with just that LED daytime running light contrasting that darker housing right next to those amber corners. Now, that daytime running light is in a sort of C-bar design, and it really grabs other people's attention, whether they're distracted drivers or just people admiring. Now, then the houses are black for a dark base behind the lens with chrome reflectors, and the lenses are clear so that the light is able to make it out of the housing without any restriction. Now, the big draw for these guys is that they have this inner LED strip here inside the C, and that's actually a fully built-in LED high beam and low beam, which means these things are going to be really bright. OEM grade build quality is something that all aftermarket manufacturers strive for, and Raxium's headlights always meet those goals. Now, we do have sealed ABS housings, and those are going to withstand the elements and take a beating from which your truck might encounter, whether it's mud or water. Now, around to the front of the headlights, these are polycarbonate lenses, which are great for impact resistance. And these headlights do meet all DOT and SAE requirements, and they're fully road legal. And then lastly, these guys are designed to be fully plug and play with your Ram. These headlights fall right around the $540 mark, putting them right in the middle of the price range, which I think reflects the more modest styling. Now, they really are a perfect choice for someone looking for something LED, but are on a budget, or you just don't want something super duper flashy. Now, these would be a great middle ground choice for you. For the price, these are right on par with the cost of a lot of other headlights in their class that use the factory halogen bulb setup, and LED bulbs are always better, so that's one thing to keep in mind when you're shopping for some new headlights for your truck. Installing this set of headlights on your Ram is going to take about 2 hours, and it really won't be a hassle to get them on, so we're only looking at an install difficulty of 1 out of 3 wrenches. So as far as install goes, I'm going to hand it over to one of the guys in the shop, and they're going to walk you through the process step by step.
The tools you'll need for this project are a ratchet, a 10mm socket, a pair of pliers, a pair of wire strippers and crimpers, and you'll also need to source some sort of electrical connector for hooking up the new lights. Hi everyone, today we're installing a set of headlights on our Ram pickup, but first, let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock system.
For this install, we are going to have to pull the grill off the front end of our truck to gain access to the headlights. You don't need a whole lot of tools to accomplish this job, and I'm going to walk you through every step of the process. So let's get started. The first step is actually going to be to remove the rad support cover. Ours is missing, and all you'll need is this little clip removal tool to pop the clips out to remove that, and that is going to gain you access to these 4 10mm bolts here at the top of the grill. So I'll use my 10mm socket on a ratchet and pull those out. Once those bolts are removed, you can grab the grill from the front end and just give it a good pull, and it should come right off. The next step is actually going to be behind the headlight, and you're going to gain access to this through the inner fender liner. There's an access window that we can use to get to the back of the headlight, and we're going to be feeling for this white tab here. It has a lip on the bottom of it, and all we have to do is push it up to unlock it. I just need to pull the clip for the access window back, and then I can fold that back out of my way, and then I can put my hand inside and release the tab. Next, once again using my 10mm socket and ratchet, I'm going to remove the 2 bolts here on the front of the headlight. That'll allow me to pull it out and unplug it from the vehicle. Now I can pull my headlight out and unplug my connectors. Just to give you a little bit of a better visual of the clip that I was referring to earlier, this is it right here, and it is currently in its locked position. By pushing it up, you open up the slot here to allow the headlight to come out.
All right, before we can install our new lights, you'll notice at the bottom of the light there's a couple of wires here that have no connector on them. We're going to have to fix that in order to get everything to work in these lights that we need to get to work. Now there are a ton of different options that you can use to get these hooked up to your system. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we're going to do it on our truck, because our harness has already been modified to accept it this way. And I'll show you a couple of different options as well that you can use if you don't have this set up on your truck. So the first option I'm going to show you is this quick connector from 3M. And the way that works is you'll take, assuming that this wire here is your wire from your harness. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to feed this wire from your harness into the outside of this connector. Okay, it's a little tight, but it's designed to be that way. But once you do that and it's inside, you'll see that it easily moves along the wire. Then what you would do is take your wire from your light and slip it into the other side. Now it will stop, so it won't go all the way through like the harness wire that you have in there now. So once you've got that, both of the wires in here, what you'll do is take a pair of pliers. What you'll do is you'll squeeze down on this metal plate in the middle of this connector, and what it'll do is it will pierce the insulation and make contact with the wire underneath. That'll give you your connection that you need in order to be able to get power to your light. Now once you've got that squeezed down, you just go ahead and flip over the opening here and lock it down so that it stays closed. That's probably the easiest way to be able to get these lights hooked up to your truck. Now they do not come in the kit, so you're going to have to source these from your local parts store or hardware store. That's one option that you have. The other option is to use these spade connectors, which we will be using on our truck because of the way that it's already been modified. And you'll put these male spade connectors on the end of the wire. You'll have it stripped off about between a quarter and half an inch. Then you'll slip your spade connector over the end until it seats down, and then use a pair of wire crimpers and crimp the end of that connector onto the wire and just give it a little tug just to make sure that it's on there. Now, you want to do this for both wires per light. So you just slip it in to the connector, use your crimper, crimp it down, and then give it a little tug, make sure it's tight. But another option that you would have to use these spade connectors is what we call a T-tap. And this works very similar to the quick connect that we showed you earlier. You're going to put the wire onto the metal tab like so, close the other side, and again, using your pair of pliers, we're going to go ahead and squeeze the wider end of the connector together, and it'll automatically lock. And at that point, this end here is where you would put in your male spade connector from your light. So now that you've seen several different options of how to hook this up, let's go ahead and install this in our truck. Now that we've got our spade connectors on the end of our wires here, we're going to tap into our parking light harness in order to get power to the light bar that's inside the new light. So here is our parking light harness. Now, like I said earlier, as you can tell, ours has been modified and we've got all kinds of different connectors, not only on the parking light harness, but on the headlight harness as well. So what you're going to need to do is determine You need a ground wire and you need a power wire. Now, normally on yours, this wire on the end would be a black wire. Because of the fact that we've had to modify ours, ours are a little bit different. But assuming that this is a black wire on your harness, then the middle wire here of these 3 wires is going to be your power source. So those are the 2 wires that we're going to want to tap into. Now, assuming that we had the T-tap earlier, you would just connect your T-tap to these 2 wires, and then you would connect your black wire from your light to the black wire on your harness, and then the green and white wire would go towards the middle wire, whatever color that may be. But since we've got the matching female spade connector on our wires, that's what we're going to plug into. So we'll just take our black wire and plug it into what would be our black wire on the harness. And then we'll take our green and white wire and plug it into whatever color wire is in the middle of these 3 wires here. That's going to get our connection to the light bar fixed up. Now we can go ahead with our normal plug and play procedure and just plug in our harness. Make sure to push down on the locking tab. Do the same for the headlight side. Push down on the red locking tab. Now we can go ahead and insert this and secure it with the original hardware. So now we'll just put everything back in together. And now we can secure it with the original hardware. And now we'll tighten down our bolts with our 10mm socket. And now you can repeat that whole process for the other side. And once you've got both headlights in and verified that they're working, we can go ahead and reinstall our grille. We're just going to slide that in to the tabs at the bottom. Line up our holes on top and reinstall with the original hardware. Now we'll tighten these 4 bolts down using our 10mm socket. Now we can go ahead and install our radiator cover and finish our installation. I'll put our cover back in place. And we'll secure it using the original push pins. Now that our headlight's completely installed, the last thing we need to do is just replace the locking tab down on the headlights to make sure that they stay in place, and then close up our access panel. So we're just going to reach up inside and feel it, because there's obviously no way that we can get a camera in here to show you. So you'll just have to feel for it. Once you find it, slide it down. It'll lock into place. Then we can replace our access panel using the original push pin. And that completes your install.
Those were the Raxium Axial Series LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses for the 09 to 18 Ram 1500 with the factory halogen non-projector headlights. For all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.